We punt the ball back to them, we pin them down there, they punt it back to us, we punt it back to them, and then they complete a 47-yard pass over A.J. Odom. That's going to happen. Big plays are going to happen in a football game. You just got to be able to react and not let one turn into two. And we made a critical error a couple plays later by a guy in the wrong alignment, and instead of getting a sack on the touchdown, we line up outside of him, he comes inside, and they're able to slice it in there for a touchdown where we should be standing right next to him, and we actually had good pressure on the quarterback. There's another critical play that gave them a touchdown, so they're up 7-0. Next series, we have the ball, we're 4th and 1, and we go for it on the 40-yard line. We have an assignment there. Our right tackle doesn't block down. If he blocks down, it's going to be Nate Jones and their safety one-on-one for either a 40-yard touchdown or it's going to be our ball first down. Instead, they make a play, and it's their ball. Now, defense came and got a 3-and-out, and we stopped in front of the ball. We have an opportunity at a long pass down the sideline where Jordan Porter's 10 yards behind the receiver, and Miles gets hit because the right tackle gives up too much ground, and instead of it being a walk-in touchdown, we catch the ball 40 yards downfield out of bounds. Okay, their next series, they get an empty right here. They beat one of our DBs. We hold them to a field goal. It's 10-0. The next series on offense for us, we have another critical play where Miles the offensive line does a great job. We got all kinds of time. He throws the ball to Austin Erickson, and their DB swipes at it and makes a good play. I think Austin jumps up and goes to try to compete a little bit more for it. There's a chance he's going to pull it down. And now we're in field goal range. We miss a field goal right before halftime. So instead of that game being 10-7, 10-10, 10-3, it's 10-0. But I don't think we had any panic in our locker room, which was good. I thought the game significantly changed on the next big play of the game, and that was the block punt. And I thought our punt team did an unbelievable job changing field position up until that point. And I thought that took the wind out of our sails. The most disappointing part of that was we're going to be in games like that. And 17-0, the game's not over. And I thought we gave in a little bit. The plays that were 1 and 2 yards or 2 and 3 yard losses early on in the game started turning into 4, 5, and 6. If you're going to give in, and that was the message to our kids, then those big games those big opportunities are going to turn into what they turn into. And so I think the attitude's right. We took 17 deep shots on Saturday night. Now, we didn't connect on but 2 of them, but we took 17. I don't see that as being outside the norm. Now, we have to stick to the plan, and I thought, our running backs and some of our skill guys are pressing to make every play a touchdown. And that's from immaturity, that's from young, that's from inexperience. As soon as we continue the plan, and sometimes you block up a power play just perfect, you're going to get 1 or 2 yards. And then you're going to get 3 or 4 yards. It's the old Dontrell Moore. The beginning of the game, it's 1 and 2, 3 yards here, 2 yards here, 1 yard here, 2 yards here. And in the third quarter, it's 1 yard here, 7 yards here, 3 yards here, 9 yards here, and then you bust one. You just got to keep pounding them into submission. And the experience of Boise State played out. They won the game 31-14. I thought our guys competed hard. I thought they expected to win. We didn't make enough plays when it came down to it. And so we made progress. And if we can eliminate some mistakes, knowing what to do and how to do it, and that game's not going to be 31-14 in the fourth quarter. It's going to be a heck of a lot closer, and we're going to have a chance to win. And the great opportunity is this week. UTEP's a dang good football team. Coach Demo's done a great job in building that program. They played in what is the 7th game at the University Stadium in the fall in the New Mexico Bowl last year against Fresno State in a great game. It was he's been there a year longer than me and is doing a great job building that program, doing such a great job that national programs are recruiting kids off his campus. They were really, really competitive against Oklahoma. It was 21-10 for a long time in that game. Coach Warner on offense, they're very aggressive in play calling. They want to be a physical team. They want to run the ball. And then what Coach Paveto's done on defense over the last couple of years, they're building a good program. And I think it's great because the University of New Mexico and Texas El Paso should play all the time in every sport. I think it's a great natural rivalry. We're 4 hours from each other. We played them, the series started in 1919. We won 43, they won 33, and there's been 3 ties. They've won the last 2 in this series. And so we had an opportunity last year. We're up 13-3 at halftime. I think our kids thought it was going to just come out and be easy. And they came out and whooped our tail in the second half and scored, we ended up winning 20-13. I mean, they shut us out in the second half and they scored 17 points. Big plays. It came down to 6 big plays last year. We didn't make a single play on a 50-50 ball, so give them credit. And we've got a great opportunity for them to come in here in our stadium and have another great college football game for the city of Albuquerque. We've got some great festivities, like Frank talked about. We've got a 9-minute fireworks show that's going to be awesome. We're going to have some music playing and listen, watch fireworks and do all those things at the end of the game. Hopefully, we got some fireworks going on during the game. And the first time out, we're gonna honor the 1962 WAC championship team. We won the WAC championship in 62, 63, 64. That was the first WAC championship team. Now we won the Border Conference championship in 1938. Okay, we won the WAC championship in 1962. Bobby Santiago, Jim Camardi, Jim Ottman, guys that were on that team that are still alive here in Albuquerque. And the idea of representing teams. Now we're honoring 3 teams during this game. And each team is getting a portion of the game that they're getting honored. Like the very first time out, it's going to be the 62 team. And why am I honoring teams? Or I shouldn't say me. Why are we honoring teams all on the same day? I think there's been some eras of New Mexico football that have been unbelievable. That early era in the 60s was tremendous. Okay, the 1982 team is the only 10-win team in the history of this program. And then what Dennis Franchione started in 1992 when he got here and built to the 1997 WAC Division, Mountain Division Championship team that lost in the championship game, and I was part of that team, was the first team to go to a bowl game in 46 years. So I don't want to take anything away from any one of those teams, but there's a tradition and an honor within the University of New Mexico football program that we get an opportunity to smile at some great times during this football program. 60s, those guys are 80 years old. I'm so thankful that the ones that are going to be able to make it, that we can honor them. And I bought them a special gift that'll be in the newspaper next week, or pictures online, sorry, not the old school newspaper. It'll be on our Go Nobles website and all that stuff. The journal will, I'm sure they'll put a picture of it too. The 97 team, they got bowl rings. I was a part of that team, so I've got a bowl ring from that era. We got some pretty cool things for them. But it's just a way of honoring the past of the University of New Mexico football program that have given to the present guys who are trying to build for the future of this program, the past, the present, and the future of New Mexico football. And so it's a great opportunity, along with a great college football game. You've got 2 teams that are going to try and beat the tar out of each other for 4 quarters, and we should have a great environment. And I'm excited about the opportunity to play against UTEP. I'm excited about the opportunity to play another game. One of the 12 we're guaranteed. Hopefully the 13th one becomes a part of that. Hopefully it's the 7th game in the University of New Mexico football stadium. So we'll see. What questions do we got? Go ahead, Brandon.
Coach, offense has not been able to score the first quarter, first 2 games. How big would it be if they can get going in the first quarter on Saturday?
I mean, momentum obviously helps in every situation. Boise State didn't score in the first quarter on Friday either. It was 0-0 at the end of 1. Both teams had gone 3 and out multiple times. Offensively, I mean, from where we were last year, being last in the country in total offense, averaging 230 yards a game, and we have 120-some yards on Friday night. Is there progress? A lot of people are saying we've got the same old problem, the same offense. I don't agree. Now, results is all that matters. We're in a result-driven game, and there's one statistic that matters: points. On defense, we didn't hold them to 1 less point. On offense, we didn't score 1 more point. And seeing results and seeing improvement comes with winning. It would help to get some momentum started, but we're going to stick to the plan. We're going to throw the ball deep. We're going to run the ball. We're going to play action pass and see what we can get open. If we can eliminate assignment mistakes, we'll be a lot more successful on offense. Now, it hurt DJ Wingfield hurt. Losing your starting right tackle, who's been your starting right tackle all fall camp. But about 4 practices, and then you're anticipating him being the starter against Maine, and then he gets hurt in warm-ups, and we think he's okay, and then he goes out there, and about the 6th play, he tears his ACL, but we don't know. They thought it was stable enough to play. He said, we'll save him for the future games, hopefully next week. And then they do an MRI and find out he's got a torn ACL. So the kid's a heck of a lot tougher than most people, because you can't play with a torn ACL, and he did, okay? So the attitude's right. But then we put a couple guys in there that have practiced Tavian Ford moved over there, who's probably the most talented of that group. Adam Gay did a pretty decent job for his opportunities in there, and Greg Brown. Greg Brown was overmatched at times. Not that he can't do it, but I think going in there in that moment, he probably wasn't prepared as prepared as he could have been, and that's too bad. I mean, it's not his fault, it's a lack of time. So we'll fix that. Go ahead, Jeff.
What is your identity and what do you want your identity to be?
I mean, we're going to be a run, play, action, pass team that's going to throw it over the top. And you've got to be able to, I mean, we do a ton of misdirection, we do a ton of motions, we do a ton with the triple option stuff. And I mean, you saw a couple of the triple option hit plays hit on Saturday night. I mean, it's, if you have a physical demeanor and you can pound the ball at them, all that play action, now you have to complete some of those deep balls. All of a sudden, the play action stuff opens up wide open. I mean, we got to get Trace Bruckler, we got to get Will Dennis, we got to get those guys, Elijah Queen involved. I thought Boise did a great job of stopping Trace. I mean, we had 3 or 4 opportunities that we had stuff designed for him that they were able to sniff out. The very first play of the game, we're running a wheel seam concept, and the linebacker does a really good job of knocking him off his path. We had a throwback later on in the game that Miles ended up scrambling for a first down. That play against Wyoming last year was a 60-yard touchdown. And so give Boise State credit. They did a really nice job of seeing some things, but that's who we're going to be. I mean, we're going to be a run, play, action, pass, throw it deep with a whole bunch of misdirection opportunities. And it's really, really hard to defend when you don't make mistakes. If you make mistakes, it makes it easy.
Rich, how confident are you in George right now, and where do you think his mentality is at in terms of the kicking game?
George's got a really strong leg, and he's a great kickoff guy. He's struggled the last couple of years in field goals. And the plan around here and the idea and the thought is we're going to be in a bunch of really close games. And a 10-3 game is a lot of momentum. George, and it's not his fault, hasn't played a lot of football. George didn't start playing football until 3 years ago. So the experience of the moment and all that stuff, it's almost impossible to create that in practice. And kickers, I said it a ton of times, they're erasers. So they got to come out and erase the mistakes of the guys and why they're on the field. And it's hard to, I mean, it's a mental deal, and sometimes you can get a vote of confidence in yourself that's hard to get out of. And I think George is struggling with that a little bit right now. We gave Luke a couple opportunities to hit some field goals, PATs in the game on Saturday after we scored. So we're going to give Luke a shot. They're going to compete every day in practice. And if Luke is absolutely horrible and George is good, then we'll continue to evaluate, but right now we're going to give Luke a shot, and George is still going to be our kickoff guy.
What's the distance you guys should?
Probably, if we had to go, I would say 50 and in. He's got a strong leg, not as strong as George, but I would feel confident anywhere from the 33, the ball being, the line of scrimmage being the 33-yard line and in. Anything longer than that, if it's a great opportunity, and I think we're playing good on defense, there's an opportunity for George to get in there and still bang out a long one.
Coach, did Boise do anything special with Luke Whiteson?
Nope.
Anything against him?
Nope. They didn't do anything special. They played good up front, and I mean, in the first quarter, it's one of those deals. In the first quarter, I thought our receivers did a great job of getting open, and we had some guys that were open downfield. We didn't protect them worth a darn. And I thought in the second and third quarter, our pass protection was really good on tape, really good. I mean, Miles stood back there a couple times. He stood down there in this end zone one time for about 8 seconds. And I thought the Boise DBs did a lot better job in the second half of covering routes. So we've got to get that in unison. When those guys are getting open, we've got to give them time to deliver the ball. And then we've got to win a lot more one-on-one opportunities. We've got guys that are capable of doing it, so they've got to win some. And then every once in a while, Miles got to be able to be willing to throw the ball when the guy's covered and throw the ball out in front and understand that the guy's going to make a play. And if it's a 50-50 ball, the receiver has the advantage of making sure it's incomplete if they can't catch it. And then great DBs go up and intercept the ball. And Ronald Wilson made a great play down here on a 50-50 ball because he went up in the air to go get it. So I think those guys need to continue to improve their route skills, Jordan and Luke and those guys, and get open. But they didn't do anything special. They didn't double him, bracket him, star him, any of those. Go ahead.
And as far as Trey Hall goes, what do you think he could bring to the offense? He was out the first 2 games.
He'll be back. I think you saw we ran an option play with him against Air Force last year, and he broke it for a 40-yard touchdown. No play that he broke his leg on. He obviously has some explosiveness. He showed some of that through fall camp. He was with the first unit today practicing over there, so he'll give us another opportunity to have somebody explosive on offense. And he's good with the ball in his hands. I mean, he did a good job when he was a quarterback, and he's good with the ball in his hands. So it gives us one more opportunity, one more guy that they have to defend, which is good.
He said he found out about it. The news had to be out the week of. I mean,
We had an appeal through the NCAA, and they're on their own time process. And we found out the Thursday before Maine that they denied the appeal to allow him to be able to play the first 2 games. And so it crushed his spirit and disappointment. But he did a great job on the scout team the rest of that week and last week. So I think we have a bunch of unselfish guys, and that's progress.
Coach,
Yo,
when you play that well and get that close, does it build an attitude of, I want to get to practice, we're that close, an obsession to work hard?
I think there's a little bit of both. I think after the football game, we were a very disappointed football team in that locker room. And when you put everything in and you expect a result and you don't get it, it hurts. And it hurts really bad. And I mean, I hate losing. Absolutely hate it more than I enjoy winning. And seeing, and this is gonna sound very morbid, but seeing that look of angst and hurt and disappointment, I'm glad. It should hurt. I mean, as much as you put into it all year, it should hurt like nothing else. So I was glad to see that they hurt. I want them to perform better so that they can experience the other side of that. I thought there was a little bit of a hangover yesterday of feeling sorry for themselves because they did all that. And I don't think we had that this morning. I thought the practice was pretty good. The energy and excitement to be out there was good. So that means that they're excited for an opportunity to have a great football team come down here and compete against. So that's positive. I was a little bit concerned when I woke up this morning that they would feel sorry for themselves, and trying to beat that out of them is another process, but they were okay this morning.
Coach, with Miles, you talk about sticking to the plan that you guys have. When Boise State's creating that pass rush and he's having to move out, for a lot of this game, what are some of the conversations when he's on the sideline, just to try to keep him in the moment, try to keep him calm?
I think there was some frustration amongst all of them because they were getting after each other for guys that were getting beat. Miles was correcting some of the receivers with some of the things downfield, where some of the adjustments they can make when he's trying to get out of the pocket. That part of it was not the frustration. I think it was the expectation of success and not having it was getting very frustrating. Now, this is a lot of progress on this side of it. The defensive kids, and when you're pretty good on one side, when you're playing pretty good on one side of the ball and struggling on the other, the maturity of your team or the chemistry of your team plays a big deal. And I heard more from the defensive guys of, we got this, don't worry about it. Keep pounding away, we got this, don't worry about it. Just keep doing your thing, we got this. There was plenty of time last year that wasn't the case. They were over there getting frustrated saying, what the heck, offense? And when that starts to peak in, you got problems, and we had them obviously last year. The attitude was different from that point, and I thought the offense was getting frustrated with themselves at times, which there's good and negative, there's good and bad with that, and it's all dependent upon how they handle it. I thought some of them didn't handle it well, but the older ones stepped in and tried to fix it. The only way to fix it is success and results, like I said earlier. So the attitude's right. Know what to do and how to do it. Go ahead, Jeff.
Hey, what's UTEP? They got a veteran quarterback from New Mexico. They got a good bruising running back. It feels like maybe you can get at the quarterback. What do you think of what they're bringing this?
I think Gavin Hardison's a great player. He's from Hobbs, New Mexico, and a NIMI kid. They have Coach Demo and myself are from a very similar background in believing in the game of football is should be a physical nightmare for everybody. I mean, that's the kind of fun it is. They're going to come down here and they're going to try and beat us into submission and believe they can. They present that type of a physical problem, which for a competitor is awesome. I thought last year their D-line in the second half got after our offensive line. I mean, whooped them up. I mean, we'll go with numbers again, 23 beat us like a drum several times, and I think on the first series of the game caused a sack fumble. Now, we were able to keep it to a field goal, but in the second half we just slowed down. So we've got a great challenge ahead, which they bring in. anybody that was at the New Mexico Bowl, that was a great game with Fresno State. Fresno State's a really good football team. So Coach Dimmel's done a phenomenal job in building that program, because where they were before he got there, I want to recall it, and I don't want to be wrong, but I think they were 0-12 the season before he got there, and he's done a phenomenal job in going to a bowl game in 3 years.
Did you see anything in the second half of New Mexico State? Did they start to run the ball? Did you see anything that helped you this week?
Well, you know, I mean, unfortunately, the first 2 games they were down a lot, so Gavin got to throw the ball a ton because they were trying to play catch up. Now, the North Texas game was a really good game. North Texas opened it up late, ended up winning 31-13, but they were throwing the ball to stay involved. Same thing with Oklahoma. Now against New Mexico State, they only got in their 4 wide receiver package 7 times. And so his personality and their philosophy of both Coach Warner and Coach Dimmel are to pound the ball at you. And in the second half, New Mexico State did a really good job of keeping the game close, and UTEP made some mistakes that enabled them from blowing that game open. I mean, they had an opportunity at 20-3 to go up 27-3, and they turned the ball over. I mean, they turned the ball over one time inside your 10, and then they turned the ball over in the 10 going in. When you do that, 90% of the time, you're going to lose that football game. And you got to give credit to the other team, too. I mean, it kills me to give them any credit down there, but Coach Kill's doing a phenomenal job and has those kids playing really hard, and they're doing some exotic things, and I thought it gave them a chance. But UTEP was able to run the ball in the fourth quarter, and when New Mexico State turned it over at the very end, that was the difference in the ball game.
Coach, following up on what you said about Gavin Hardison, from day one, you've put a major emphasis on recruiting the top high school football players here in the state of New Mexico. So Saturday night, when you see Gavin out lining up a quarterback for UTEP, is that going to create sort of a never again moment for you? Where you going to?
Well, you know what?
Those guys we want to sign.
There's a bunch of New Mexico kids that don't ultimately come up to the University of New Mexico.
Yeah.
There's a faction of our state down there in the southern east corner, Hobbs, Artesia, Roswell, all those schools that are about 40 miles from Texas Tech.
Yeah.
And so we've got a great hotbed of football down there that we recruit our tails off for those kids, like the Dontrell Moores, that Texas Tech's smart and they recruit those kids too.
Yeah.
And so not every kid goes to the University of New Mexico. I root New Mexico kids on wherever they're at. I mean, I hope Gavin Hardison has all kinds of success. Not on Saturday night. And we're going to try and get to him on Saturday night every chance we can, and then I'll find him after the game and hug him up and continue to root him on for the rest of the year. There's been kids that go away from New Mexico and end up coming back. So I don't think there's any aha moments. We didn't recruit Gavin. I mean, it was Coach Dillon and them did a great job. Not because Gavin went hard enough. I was at Arizona State, and so I mean, I don't think there's an aha moment, but we're going to try and whoop his tail, and then I'll love him up after the game because he's one of us.
Coach, can you talk about Dante Martin? Just what did you think of his game?
Dante Martin proved who he is. I think he's one of the best corners in this league. And I thought on the very first third down of the game, they run a crossing route to see if they can run away from him, and they couldn't. And then I thought on we make an assignment mistake on defense, and Brockmeyer has a bunch of time, and he throws that ball down there in the fader out in the end zone that 2 years ago or last year even, the receiver jumped up and reached over Dante, and he's going to make that play. It's going to be a touchdown for the other team because it happened to him. And Dante actually had a better chance of intercepting that ball and actually slipped out of his hands. And then he made another big-time play down here in this end zone. I think Dante's one of the best corners in this league, and I'm excited that we have him for 2 years. And what that does is it puts more pressure on A.J. Odoms. It puts more pressure on Zach Morris. It puts more pressure on Josh Williamson and Bryson Taylor, because if they can't throw it to one side, or if they have a sense that one DB is really, really good, then they're going to go hunt up the other guy. And Boise did in the first play. Now, that long 47-yard pass that they caught on AJ in the very first big play they had, they ran that exact same route concept 2 times, and he's all over it, and they don't even throw the ball. So they've got good players, they're going to make plays. We've got good players, we're going to make plays. We just have to make more than they do. Go ahead, Brandon.
Staying with the secondary, Jarek Reed's only got a couple targets in the first 2 games. How is he still impacting the game? He's really been racking up the tackles.
Probably our most productive player between him and Tavian, and statistically, Jarek Reed's a really good football player. He's a great football player. but most importantly, he plays the game the right way. The very first play of the game where he tackles a guy for a 3-yard loss, they have a blocker for him, and he just blew right by the blocker, and he hits George Villani in the backfield. He had that same exact tackle last year against George Villani, and it was an 8-yard gain. So, I mean, give Coach Baker credit for getting those guys stronger. We bring a little bit more of a wallop when we hit them. The collisions are a little bit more violent. They're not going to throw the ball at him very much. And so when he does get opportunities, he has to make the most of it. Now they took a chance and they threw him out here. The ball was a little bit overthrown. He was in pretty good shape on the route, but he's not going to get many opportunities. So he's got to make his opportunities on both special teams and defense when he has.
Last question, Coach. Saturday, the buddy walk, what's plan for our?
I'm glad you asked that. So the Rio Grande Down Syndrome Network Buddy Walk is here on our practice fields on Saturday morning. It's from 10 to 1. They'll have a couple food trucks out there, have a little band out there. It's going to be a big concert, and then we'll walk around. My daughter, her team is called the Abby's Logos. You can get on Rio Grande Down Syndrome Network, and you can find the Buddy Walk, and you can donate to a team. It's a fundraiser for the organization. It's the largest fundraiser of the year. I have an opportunity to be a part of it because of our special little one, who she's a rock star, and she has a different ability. And we'll have, I would guess, I have no idea how many we're gonna have out here on Saturday morning. At Arizona State, the Buddy Walk in September is a part of homecoming parade, and they lead the homecoming parade, and it was over 1,000 people when we were at Arizona State. When we were in San Diego, the San Diego Down Syndrome Network had it at a park in October, and they did it with some Halloween festivities, and it's an awesome event and with some really cool, here's some other really cool stuff we got a ton of donations for Abby's team already. Our women's swim team is going to walk with Abby. All of them are going to be there on Saturday morning. You can get on the website and see how many team members she has, so it's really cool stuff. And our athletic department's unbelievable for doing something like this on a game day, and having an opportunity to help the Rio Grande Down Syndrome Network, which is a resource for families with not only people that have Down syndrome, but for getting people to recognize that it doesn't define who they are. It's a part of them. No idea where that came from, but it's a part of them. And so it's an opportunity to build resources to help all those families, to help give the resources for them to be just an everyday part of society. And so having that opportunity to do it here is really cool, and then they'll be able to go over there and have festivities and be a part of the tailgate in the Howl Zone. They're going to be able to walk around and do all that from 10 to 1 and celebrate together. So it's really cool that the university, that the athletic department's going to do it on the game, and then they'll be a part of the game. We'll be able with the fireworks show and all those good things. So it'll be really cool.
Coach Fudge,
Yes.
I was in the stands in the second half. There was a good response in there. It was sincere. I think what happened on the field got Henry T. I think you ignited a new fire amongst your fans of respect. I think you'll have more come. What do you think?
You want to get me started on this soapbox? My opinion, I thought the people that were in the crowd on Saturday night were unbelievable. And I thought the north end zone was outstanding. I thought the students did a great job. I thought it was really loud down there. They screwed up a call. They called us for offsides when we did some movement, and I thought the offense had a hard time hearing the snap count for Boise. We got them into a couple of false starts because of the north end zone down there. And people might get mad at me, and that's okay. I don't understand why in a city of 1 million people, in a town where college football is very important to the community, we have one of the 42 bowl games hosted in this country. Not every city in America has a bowl game. And the work that Jeff Symbieta and his crew have done to make that a first-class bowl game and celebrate college football in this city and have it be the premier first day opening college football season every single year why we don't take advantage of an opportunity for 7 football games in the fall makes no sense to me. I grew up here and I'm as proud of a logo and I'm as proud of fan, and I don't understand why that place isn't full. But I know this, you want it to be full, win the Boise State game. You want it to be full, beat UTEP. You want it to be full, win more games than you lose. I understand that. I had hope and faith that more people would come, believe off of image and belief off of what we've done before, and belief off of progress. You know what they say when you assume something. So that's on me. And that's okay. They'll eventually come, because we'll win enough games. People will get tired of hearing me talking about it until we do. I don't care. What else?
Is Dion Arnold same as last week, game time? Yeah.
Game time decision. Anything else? Did you have one, Brandon?
No.
You're good?
Yeah.
All right.
He's just pointing at his camera.
Good, perfect. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.
Go ahead and get the social media, let them roast me up. It's okay.
What was live?
Wait, hey, you know what? Negative comments.